Now, for families on low incomes, life can be a constant struggle. In the current economic climate, with rising inflation and higher food prices, it appears that more and more people are slipping into severe poverty. So what advice is there for those finding it hard to make ends meet? Let's speak to Liz Sewell, who is from the London Advice Services Alliance, which offers support to people living in poverty. Good morning to you. We're hearing this morning that one particular charity, it gives grants to people in poverty, says it's had a 400% increase in applications for relief over the past 4 to 6 weeks. What are you hearing anecdotally we're hearing about rising food prices and other costs?
What we're finding is that people are finding there are more complex cases. It's not just that there's one issue hitting them, there are a number of different issues. So they're looking at increases in their fuel prices, increases in their food prices, and what that means is that people need to get very specific help in order to support them.
And is that help available currently, and is that help increasing because of current situation?
We advise people in the most complex and difficult situations, and what we're finding is these are presenting more, but also that the government aren't necessarily putting in place the kinds of support that those people need. So for legal aid, for example, they've set up an average support in terms of the price that people are allowed to have for legal aid. If you're applying for a complex welfare benefits problem, you don't have an average. Your justice has to be measured out in very specific portions, but that's not happening. So what we're looking at is the government's not providing the kind of help that people need when they find themselves in poverty.
The government, of course, would say it's improved the minimum wage, it's improving working tax credits, it's looking at, winter fuel allowances, it's doing a lot. It would argue, to help alleviate the situation of people in poverty. Do you think that special measures need to be introduced as a result of what's happening at the moment?
I think you're right. The government's intentions are good. We have to give them credit for the fact that they have put a lot of attention onto poverty and helping people. But they have to get down to attention to detail. We saw it last week on the 10p tax rate. We're seeing it now on people who are finding that actually their fuel is going up a great deal, people living in fuel poverty. What the government needs to do is to make sure it's not just saying this is what we desire, this is what we want, that it's actually able to deliver for the poorest people. Because I think that's what, we live in a society now where people want to see fairness, they want to see justice, they want to see people to be able to go back to work. But if the government doesn't put in place the things that deliver that, it's no good just saying, oh yes, we want to end child poverty. You have to focus very carefully each step of the way how you deliver that. And that's what the government needs now, more scrutiny on how it delivers its policies.
OK, Liz Sewell from the London Advice Services Alliance, thanks very much for joining us this morning. And if you have a view on that, do get in touch with us this morning. It is 17 minutes past 6. You're watching Breakfast, of course, from BBC News, our headlines.